In this video we will discuss about Hartley oscillator. Hartley oscillator is a kind of LC tuned oscillator which is used to generate high frequency signal. This is the basic circuit diagram of Hartley oscillator. As shown in this circuit, a parallel LC circuit is used, which is formed by using two inductors L1 and L2 and a capacitor. And this parallel tuned circuit, parallel tank circuit, is connected between the collector and base of a transistor. Inductor L1 and L2 forms an inductive voltage divider circuit which provides a fraction of this tank circuit voltage at the emitter. Inductor L1 and L2 forms an inductive voltage divider circuit which provides a fraction of this tank circuit voltage at the emitter. We already know in any parallel resonant circuit, in any parallel tank circuit which has inductance L and capacitance C, the resonant frequency is given by 1 upon 2 pi under root LC. And in this circuit, L1 and L2 are connected in series. So the equivalent inductance will be L1 plus L2. In this way, the resonant frequency of this circuit is given by F naught equals 1 upon 2 pi under root L1 plus L2 into C. L1 plus L2 is the total inductance due to these two inductors connected in series. So this resonant frequency will be the frequency of oscillation of this Hartley oscillator. We will prove this by analyzing the equivalent circuit of this oscillator. This is the equivalent circuit of Hartley oscillator using BJT. We will analyze this circuit to get the frequency of oscillation and condition of oscillation. First we will calculate the current through this inductor. As indicated in the figure, the voltage across this inductor is voltage between base and emitter, V pi, and impedance of this inductor is SL2, because we already know the impedance of an inductor having inductance L is SL. So in this case, impedance will be SL2. So current through this inductor will be voltage across this inductor divided by impedance of this inductor, means V pi upon SL2. So this is the current through this inductor. Same current will flow through this capacitor, because this capacitor and inductor L2 both are in the same branch of the circuit. So V pi upon SL2 will also be the current through this inductor, V pi upon SL2. Now see this junction here. The voltage at this point, at this junction, is VC. So current through this resistor will be VC upon R. Similarly, we can write the current through this inductor will be VC upon SL1, and voltage across this capacitor can be written as VC minus VB equals current through this capacitor, means V pi upon SL2 multiplied by impedance of this capacitor. impedance of a capacitor is 1 upon SC. So these things are written here. Current through L2 is V pi upon SL2, just we have discussed. Current through C equals V pi upon SL2, same current. VC minus VV, VC here and VB here. VC minus VV, voltage across this capacitor. VC minus VV equals V pi upon SL2 into 1 upon SC. V pi upon SL2 is the current through this capacitor. This is V pi upon SL2. And 1 upon SC is the impedance of this capacitor. So voltage across capacitor VC minus VA we can write as VC equal VB plus V pi upon SL2 into 1 upon SC. From this equation VC minus VB, simplify this as VC, then VC will be VB plus V pi upon SL2 into 1 upon SC. Take common, and we also know, please see here, V pi is the voltage across base and emitter is at the ground potential. So VB equals V pi. Right here at the place of VB, write V pi, take common V pi is in this way. VC can be written as VC equals V pi 1 plus 1 upon S square L2C. Now we will apply KCL at this node, at the collector. Here C, here current through L1, current through R, and this current, voltage controlled current source, and current through C. All the currents are outgoing currents. So if we add all these currents and we put this equal to 0, that will be the KCL equation for this junction, for the collector junction. Right here, applying KCL at node C, GM V pi, this current, plus VC upon R, current through R, VC upon R, plus VC upon SL1, VC upon impedance of this inductor, SL1 is the current through this inductor, and current through this capacitor is already given. Add all these currents, GM V pi plus VC upon R plus VC upon SL1 plus V pi upon SL2 equals 0. Now at the place of VC, here at the place of VC at this point and at this point, write VC equals V pi 1 plus 1 upon S square L2C. First I have written this term and then this term, V pi upon SL2. Then at the place of BC, write this V pi 1 plus 1 upon S square L2C into 1 upon R. BC from this expression. Similarly, at the place of BC here, write same thing, V pi 1 plus 1 upon S square L2C into 1 upon SL1 equal to 0. Now we are seeing, now multiply this, V pi into 1 upon R, then again V pi into 1 upon SL1. Simplify this, it means after simplification we will find in each term of this expression there is a V pi. So take V pi common, and first term will be V pi and second term will be GM plus 1 upon R plus 1 upon S square L2 CR, like this. Now this expression will be 0 if either both the term means v pi and this term are 0 or any one of this term is 0. But since v pi cannot be 0, v pi is the voltage across base and emitter, it cannot be 0, hence the second term will be 0. Put the second term equal to 0 and write S equals j omega. At the place of S, write j omega. S is the complex frequency having terms sigma and j omega. S equals sigma plus j omega, where sigma is the Nepert frequency which represents the variation in the amplitude of the signal. If sigma is 0, then there is no variation in the amplitude, means the signal has constant amplitude. In this case, sigma is 0. Write S equals j omega. Simplify the equation. Put j square equals -1. In this way, we can write this expression like this way. See this expression carefully. This expression has two parts. One part Gm plus 1 upon r minus 1 upon omega square L2 Cr is the real part, and another 1 upon j omega 1 upon L1 plus 1 upon L2 minus 1 upon j omega cube L1 L2 C, imaginary part. Means equation 1 is a complex equation which has a real part and an imaginary part, and it is equal to 0. Any complex value, any complex expression will be 0 if its real and imaginary, both the part is equal to 0. So we will equate its real part equal to 0, and then again we will equate imaginary part equal to 0. In this way we will find the expressions. First I am equating imaginary part of equation 1 to 0. At the place of omega, you are seeing here, I have written omega naught, because for all the frequencies equation 1 will not be 0. For a particular frequency which is generated by the oscillator, the equation 1 will be 0. So omega naught is the frequency generated by the Hartley oscillator, frequency of the signal generated by the Hartley oscillator. So write here 1 upon j omega L1 plus L2 upon L1 L2 minus 1 upon j omega cube L1 L2 C equals 0. This is the imaginary part of this equation. Now simplify this equation. On simplification we will get this L1 plus L2 equals 1 upon omega naught square C. So omega naught square equals 1 upon C L1 plus L2, and omega naught equals 1 upon under root C L1 plus L2. This is the angular frequency of the signal. At the place of omega naught, now write 2 pi f naught. F naught is the frequency in hertz. So we can write f naught equals 1 upon 2 pi under root C L1 plus L2. So this is the frequency of oscillation, frequency of the signal generated by the oscillator. Now we will equate real part to 0. Real part of equation 1 is this: Gm plus 1 upon r minus 1 upon omega square L2 Cr. At the place of omega we will write omega naught. So equate this real part to 0. Simplify. At the place of omega naught square, write this. Omega naught square equals 1 upon C L1 plus L2. So at the place of omega naught square, I have written here 1 upon C L1 plus L2 and L2 CR. Now simplify this. Gm plus 1 upon R equals this. On simplification, we will get the expression like this: Gm plus 1 upon R L1 plus L2 upon L2R. Simplify. On simplification, we will get Gm equals L1 upon L2R. In this way, we can write L1 upon L2 equals GMR. This is the condition for sustained oscillation.